the seventh game against the Knicks, you got to it because Kukoc made the shot in Chicago when Scottie wouldn't come off the bench. So that was such a fascinating part of last night's Last Dance documentary. Were you all surprised in the huddle that Phil called a play for Tony and not Scottie?
Well, when you're in the moment, you're just trying to figure out how to win the game. And we had played well enough to win that game, and we had a sense of desperation because we were already down 0-2. So that was a must game for us as we were coming back home. And sometimes, as a player, you have a feel. Sometimes as a coach, you have a feel. And you know what? It wasn't a matter if it was right or wrong. I understood where Scottie was coming from. I understood. And I got where Phil felt that was the best opportunity for us to potentially win that game. And, it was just, it happened. When I remember playing, it was happening, but I couldn't get sidetracked with that, because we still had to figure out how to win this game. So Tony hits the shot, and the one thing I do remember still, again, like it happened yesterday, was the speech that Bill Cartwright gave. I mean, it was one of the most heartfelt speeches I've ever seen. And Bill was clearly, he had so much wisdom and what he brought to that moment, because that moment could have gone a bunch of different ways. But Bill was able to somehow resolve the issue where, everyone in that room understood what had just happened. And Bill didn't have a lot of things to say. He chose his words carefully, but he said what needed to be said, and he brought so much passion. I remember, he was in tears about what happened because we cared about Scottie. We cared about our group. We had come too far and done too many things and experienced too many things to allow anything on the outside to disrupt this group. So, to this day, I tip my hat off to Bill. That was one of the great moments in my basketball career of having an opportunity to see leadership at its apex. And that was one of those moments because it needed to be said, and he said it. We resolved it. We moved on, and we were able to play and win the next game and ultimately almost win that series.
So what did you think of when you heard Scottie say last night that he would not have changed that moment, that he would not have gone back and handled it differently if he had the opportunity?
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I chuckled, right? And I chuckled when I heard that because I know Scottie, and I know, the pressures that it takes to be, in that position. And I can only imagine what he was feeling at that time. And I can only imagine all of the things that we all were feeling, right? We all felt the burden of allowing New York to come back and tie up that game. So I got it, but I do know this: when the game had to be played and what we were going to do, we knew Scottie was going to be there, and he knew we were going to be there for him. So it was like one of those things. It was said, but you know what? Scottie is our guy. We love him. And we know the type of guys and relationship that we have with one another, and then you move on. So, but I laughed when I heard that because you know what? It was just like, yeah, you do things, and we all saw what happened. But the thing is, as a group, as a team, we are always going to figure out things, and that was what I knew about our group. We will figure it out as we go along.
So one of the things that we laugh about, BJ, here on our show, Chris Brockman and I, and the rest of us watching this documentary, is Kukoc's reaction. Does he think you're all just totally insane? I mean, just the Americans are just insane. It's just like, what's the matter with you people?
Rich, that's great that you picked up on it. When I first met Tony, it was like in 1984 and 85, we played against each other in high school, and Tony has this sense of humor. And being around him, you catch it, but it's really funny because he talks that way, like, hey, what's going on? Do you really know what's happening here? He has this sense of humor, so you picked up on it. Tony is really funny that way.
Just like, what's the matter with you people?
I was just talking to him recently.
Right.
But that's his sense of humor. And you got to be around him to get it. But that's funny that you picked up on that.
Yeah. We just think he sits there every time just like, I'm just trying to play my game. I'm just trying to be myself. And these people are insane. Like, Krause and Michael. I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with anything other than I'm just trying to win a game. That's basically what it looks like to me.
I know.
I know he's really funny, and that's him though. He's like he says it with like a straight face, so it makes it funnier.
Yes.
He's like, "Hey, what are you talking about? Like, what are these people doing? Like, you know." But
That's what it looks like to
he's
me.
really he really has a sense of humor. So that's a really good catch by you.
Thank you. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.